Good evening. It's 6:01, and I'd like to call the November 16th, 2022 meeting of the DRC to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Martinez, roll call, please.
Chair Lacon,
Present.
Vice Chair McKay,
Present.
Committee Member Batnish,
Present.
and Committee Member Raymond Chang is going to be absent. Committee Member Chow,
Present.
alternate Committee Member Tony Chow, and alternate Committee Member Torgerson. Thank you.
Great, thank you. The agenda is posted 72 hours prior to the meeting at the following locations: San Marino City Hall, San Marino Public Library, San Marino Recreation Department, the San Marino website. Each committee member has received plans and has reviewed every item on the agenda and visited each site. The general order for hearing each case will be as follows. The committee will ask staff any questions they may have. The chair will then ask the applicant or the applicant's representative to comment on the proposal. The hearing will then be open to the public, and the chair will ask for comments for, against, or about the project. In all cases, please come forward and give your name and address. At the conclusion of the public comments, the applicant will have a chance to respond, and no further comments from the public will be accepted. The chair will then ask for comments from each of the committee members. If there is no motion for approval or denial, the DRC has the option of continuing the application to a future meeting. In the event of a denial, it is hoped that the applicant will have heard comments during the public comment period and during deliberations that will be useful in resubmitting an application. It is important for the property owner to understand that once a project is approved by the DRC, the drawings become legal documents. If any changes are made to the project subsequent to approval without obtaining proper approval of those changes, then the property owner is in fact breaking the law. There is a risk of having to change the project back to the originally approved design or paying a fine to the city of San Marino equal to the greater of 5% of the project valuation or $2,500, and then resubmitting the changes back to the made to the project to the DRC. It is also important to understand that there is a 15-day appeal period after action has been taken for the applicant or an interested party to request the Planning Commission to review and act on the case. Let's begin with agenda item number 1. A design review case number 22-52 at 690 Lombardi Place. May we have a staff report?
Design review case number 22-52 at 690 Lombardi Place. The applicant proposes to replace 15 existing steel fixed and casement windows and add 1 new window with 16 new gelled sightline aluminum wood clad sliding windows in bone white color. 7 of which are visible from the street view. The existing casement window 11A, which shown on submitted plan page D101, is proposed to be replaced by 2 sliding windows shown on page A101. As such, the project requires design review approval. The subject property is not listed or not identified on the citywide historic resource survey report. Out of total 9 legal neighbors, 4 responded with no objections and 5 no responses. The project meets all findings and staff recommends approval. That concludes the staff report. Staff is available to answer any question, and the applicant is available as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for this item, I would like to ask alternate member Torgerson to be a voting member. Do you want to come up here? And you can sit right in place of committee member Chang. Was unable to attend this evening. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Go ahead, committee member Chow.
I'd just like to ask staff about the windows. Maybe there's something that the applicant also needs to clarify as well. Because when I compare the existing windows with the proposed windows, it seems to me there should be 17 windows altogether, not 16. Currently it's noted 15 plus 1 new. I think the discrepancy could be that if you look at the either plans, if you just look at the proposed plan, if you look, which is A100, above on the upper side of the plan, it says where it says sunroom. It's noted there are 2 style 404 and 2 style 03. So, and I don't think it's counted. I don't think the second 03 is counted. So if you count everything, it should be 17. So we can further clarify that with the applicants. So that's my question.
Yes, to my knowledge, the window number 3,
Excuse me. For the record, can you state your name and title for Zoom purposes?
yes, this is Eric G, the assistant planner. So yes, I believe to my knowledge, that is an error that the 2 number 3 windows should be replaced. So it should be total 17. But I would like the applicant, or yes, the applicant to clarify for clarity.
Thank you.
My name is David Chong, 905 North Avenue 66,
thank you.
Los Angeles.
Just a minute.
Not yet.
Okay.
Does anyone else on the committee have any questions for staff?
I do.
Okay, we have a question. Go
Just
ahead.
for clarification, is our job to look at the front windows only?
Yes,
Thank you.
Front and all the sides that are facing public view, the front and the side, is that correct?
Side.
yes.
Okay. Okay, anyone else?
And I have a question.
Uh,
So you're saying that the staff report says that the project is for the replacement of these windows, but there are changes in the sizing on 3 of them at least, correct?
Yes, there are some side changes to some of the windows. Which I believe, let's double check.
It looks like bathroom 2, bedroom 2, bathroom 1. If I'm looking at this correctly. I'm looking at- Yeah. Mhm. It's in the chart. It's the 3rd one down and the 6th one and the one at the very bottom.
on A102.
Yeah, so the windows that are changing, that's to the front are 11A, window, the bathroom 1,
Mhm.
bedroom 2.
There's 2 bathroom ones listed on the chart, but it's the one at the very bottom, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
So it's bathroom 2, according,
Also bathroom 1. at the
Also
bottom.
bathroom 2 as well.
See the bathroom one is listed twice.
Okay.
You see that?
I just have this, so this one right here is the one.
But then there's also at the bottom, the very bottom.
Okay, got it.
So it's a little confusing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we know why the change in sizing and if that's going to have any other consequence or impact?
Sorry.
One is an egress.
Pardon?
One's an egress.
Okay.
For-
Three, right?
No.
No. Okay, the change in sizes, because they're not replacing like with like.
Yes.
Do we have any sense of, the staff have any sense of that?
I believe it was an applicant's choice to make it. Like your
Uh,
personal preference to make it larger
Yes.
than what's existing. If that answers your question. Yeah, I mean, any size changes would have, that's why it's before you as well, is because they're changing sizes.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
In the case of bathroom,
I-
one, it's a
Do you have a
smaller-
question? Oh, no, no.
It's kind of this, it's about the same one.
Committee member Patnage?
Yeah, I'm sorry to um be out of order, but from what I see, some of the changes are to be smaller windows.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify that they haven't been inverted or no mistakes or anything like that. I mean,
No, I believe the windows they are reducing sizes in some of them areas. It's,
If I may.
Okay, okay.
If I may just-
Can we, wait, did you want to follow up on that?
Bedroom number
Member
2
Ferguson?
that goes from an 8x2 window to a 511x4. I believe it has to do with egress in the bedroom.
Okay,
mhm.
I'm sorry, which one are
Right.
you referring to?
It's 6D, bedroom 2.
Mhm.
That one has changed because of that.
Right.
The other two will change the front relief. So
Right.
the smaller windows are replacing larger windows in the bathroom.
Right, so
Okay.
do we, just a follow-up question
For staff.
for staff?
Okay, go ahead.
Was there a discussion with the applicant about if the windows are becoming smaller? I don't know if it's just, it looks like. I mean.
I think we can get to the questions with about the windows.
Well,
Yeah.
in terms of egress, when you look at the changes, it's the height that's increasing, so that would be because of the egress requirement.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? No questions. We have the applicant present, give me your name and your name and your address and present your project. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the applicant. My name is David Chong. My address is 905 North Avenue 66, Los Angeles, California. The project is predominantly an interior remodel and window change for all the windows around the house. The reason for the window size changes was a combination of making the sizes more cohesive around the house and also for egress requirements. The only window changes of sizes were the ones that have already been mentioned by staff and the committee. I don't think I have any more to add. It's fairly straightforward.
Okay, thank you very much. And does anyone have any questions for the applicant?
I have a
Um,
question.
Committee member Turkison?
Yes, on the kitchen window that's next to the front door, is that being moved further?
Slightly, yes.
Slightly.
There's existing 2 windows in the kitchen and they're different sizes. And so we thought it best to make both windows the exact same size and kind of place them in appropriate locations for the new design of the kitchen.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank you.
second question,
Oh, go ahead.
is the front door being replaced?
No,
Are there any other questions? Committee member Chow? Committee member Rick Chow.
Yes, I think you heard my question to staff, and I would just like to further clarify that with you. So altogether, you will have 17 new windows, is that correct? As opposed to 16.
Yes,
Because you will have 4 new windows for the sunroom area, is that correct?
correct. 4 new windows.
Okay, and again, kind of a follow-up question, was, I think we show that how many windows will have different sizes. Understanding is that a bathroom at the bottom of the chart, the window style is 11. 11 times 2, that's the 2 transom window, right? Is that the 2 small transom windows? If you look
Pardon me,
at-
I have a bad internet connection.
Okay, can you hear me, okay?
Pardon me?
Can you hear me okay?
Very faintly.
Do you want to turn your volume, perhaps? Adjust your volume?
This
It's-
is Kellen. I don't think it's on our end. We can hear every committee member except the last speaker, and its staff is fine as well. So I don't know if it's your microphone or just speaking into it more clearly, but one of those two is probably the issue. No, still nothing.
Do you want to just use mine?
Nope.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're perfectly clear.
That's very odd.
Yeah. Did you hear Batney? Okay, we're gonna try another microphone.
We heard committee member Batney earlier, but not just this last try.
It's just might be finicky wire.
We're calling the AV operator.
So you could just ask the applicant to clarify which one have different sizes. Yeah. And one bathroom, I think.
Helen, can you hear me?
Yes,
I don't know what's.
Alan, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay.
Committee member Chad, you want to use that?
Now it's working. I apologize for the complications.
Okay, I just want to, can you hear me okay? All right, so I would just like to ask the applicant to clarify that there are 3 windows going to be different sizes. The 2 transom windows, which will be smaller. And then there's 1 bedroom window, which will also be smaller than the current size. Is that correct?
I didn't hear the last 10 seconds.
Okay, so I just rephrase the questions. If you could clarify which windows will be different sizes. Understanding is there are 2 transom windows, so it's smaller. Is that correct?
Sheriff, if you could clarify the question for us, I still can't hear it either.
Okay,
All right.
committee
Please.
member Chow would like clarification on the 3 windows that are being changed or altered in size. The 2, which windows are they specifically? Go ahead.
If you refer to A100, it's 11B, the 2 transom windows, 6D in bedroom number 2, and 01C in bathroom number 2, which matches the same size as 01A and 01B on the west side.
That was on page A100.
Correct.
I'm looking at a door schedule.
Got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Committee Member Chow, was that answered? Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone else? Any questions? Committee Member, Vice Chair McKay, did you have a question?
No, the change in the window sizing, you're going to replace the outside of the house with the same material, correct? I mean, it's going to have an alteration on the outside of the house. And in terms of the outside of the house that is public facing. You can't hear me?
Okay.
What? I don't understand
I
what's
think-
going on. This is.
Can you hear me? I'll ask Committee Vice Chair's question. She was asking about, I think, the finish of the stucco in the areas where you're going to be replacing the windows with smaller windows. You want to ask about the finish of the window
What?
and are you probably about consistency with the material that's going to be used versus the existing material? Is there a plan on finishing the facade to match the original facade? Hello? No, he's not. I don't think he's hearing us.
Yeah, I can hear you. Mr. Tong, I think those questions are. for you.
I see it. Yes, the stucco will be redone and matched to the existing,
Mhm. Okay, is that?
the same finish and the same texture.
Okay. Okay, that's your question. I have a question about the window sills. Are you going to be replacing the sill of the window?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know what kind of material it's going to be?
I think the sightline windows come with a pre-made sill,
Okay,
and it will be whatever is available.
okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? I had one question on the preference, you're going from a casement design to sliding. And
Mhm.
could you let us know on the reasoning for the changing of the style of the mechanism?
It's purely owner preference for operation.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Seeing no other questions, we will ask for public comments. Is anyone here for a public comment? Or anyone online?
No one's online.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing portion and move to committee member comments. I will start with alternate member Tony Chow.
Meeting member?
If you could
Can-
speak, sorry.
Oh, and I was thinking, hope we can hear it.
Just closely.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, not much to add on this. I think just to maybe in our notes to clarify how many windows. And then maybe we can clarify what is in our scope, since a lot of the questions were there. But in terms of a project, I think this is pretty modest, so I can support this.
Thank you very much. Alternate member Torgerson, thank you.
Yes, I like this manufacturer of a window, Geldman. I've seen their factory. And I think the project will enhance the current building and I can support it.
Thank you. Committee member Rick Chow.
I'll give it a try. I don't know if they can hear me, but yes, I can also support it. I think we just need to, as mentioned, we need to ask the staff to correct the notes in terms of how many windows. Also, I think we probably need to have a condition to make sure where the windows are sized down, the exterior are damaged. We need to make sure that is going to be done to match the existing stucco in color and finish. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Committee member Batnij.
Yes, I would just echo the same things that it should be, I hope that the motion will include a condition that the stucco on those just 2 or 3 areas that are going to need to be filled in, be properly matched, which is kind of an art. So please put some attention to that, and obviously that the color also. And I just hope that the applicant understands that they're not only because of even with the windows that are being replaced by the same size or a very similar size, that half of their ability to open up their windows is being lost, even if it's the same, because of not half, usually half with these windows. But I can support this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair McKay.
Thank you. So yes, we need to make some clarifications for the record. And then I would just like to ask my fellow committee members if I think that the project of replacing all of the windows throughout the house is admirable and is going to enhance the project, as alternate committee member Torgerson noted. I agree with that. I concur. You know, that I'm sure we're all pleased to see that. I just want to know if my fellow committee members have considered compatibility, and if the design, which is going to be a design throughout the whole house, is compatible with the house itself. I just want to have just a brief discussion on that.
Okay, we will close up I'll give my comments and then we can discuss
Okay.
the compatibility issue. I also want to bring up the compatibility with itself in the neighborhood. I don't see sliding windows in the neighborhood or in many neighborhoods in San Marino, in many homes. And I do agree that the windows need attention, and I could support the changes proposed today. I just find that the moving from a casement to a sliding to be not compatible in the neighborhood. So let's discuss that briefly and see if anyone else has that issue. But I think that I could support it today either way. So if anyone had any strong feelings about compatibility,
Did all the committee members make
I
their?
believe everybody.
Yeah,
had their
Everybody
vote.
did.
Did you- you didn't?
No, I don't. Are you starting over here?
Oh, no, we're not gonna stop. Does anyone have any comments?
Yeah, I actually had the same thought, like, there's something about sliders that tend to go. I don't know, it's not something that, as you said, that you see on San Marino houses, and I did consider that, but I think on this particular house, it is, it's, for me, it is an acceptable use of the slider on this particular style. But if this was, you know, like colonial or something,
Compatibility
it would
with its
be
style.
absolutely incompatible.
Okay.
But I agree, like, I took a second thought about sliders, but then on this particular house, I personally believe that it is compatible, and I think
Okay.
it's always a good idea to talk about compatibility with types of windows with traditional architecture.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think, go ahead. Member
I
Chow.
would second that thought. I think it's a great question. It's something that we should discuss. And I also agree that with this particular home, I think the new window, the proposed windows are okay.
Okay. So I think that tonight we are all in agreement that the home, the style and the mechanism and the shape, the size of the windows is compatible with the home and with the legal neighborhood. And it looks like we are in agreement that we could support the project this evening. So is there anyone that could make a motion with the conditions that we had talked about? Is anybody? Committee member Rick Chow?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve DRC number 22-52 at 690 Lombardi Place with the added condition that the exterior walls needs to match the existing wall. Do I think.
Let's,
anything-
Director Isidro, I mean, Director Figueroa, please.
Chair, I just drafted something really quick to see if it's up to the pleasure of the committee. Kellen, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. That the exterior treatment of the windows reduced in size shall match the rest of the residence. Does that capture?
The stucco and texture.
Right.
Match the
Exterior treatment.
Existing.
Exterior
Existing.
treatment. Okay.
Oh, no,
The
exterior
rest of-
treatment of the windows reduced in size shall match the rest of the residence. So whatever that treatment's gonna be, it all has to be in uniform.
I think we're trying
Can
to
we just-
prevent the marks around
Right.
where they fill in the areas. I believe that's what we're trying to,
So he's gonna restucco it, so.
the entire house.
All of it will be restucco?
That's my understanding.
No,
Wouldn't, not the,
Going to be restucco.
for the window changes, yes, but not the entire house. Yeah.
An existing, I would prefer the
I would-
existing.
Yeah, I would still like to putting wording that with the stucco texture and finish. I feel that's just clear. As opposed to so all the new stucco needs to match the existing stucco texture, finish and color.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by committee member Ganesh. Roll call, please.
Chair Lakin,
Yes.
Vice Chair McKay,
yes,
Committee Member Batnish,
Yes.
Committee Member Rick Chow,
Yes,
and alternate committee member Torgerson.
Yes,
It's 5-0.
Okay, thank you very much. And we will move on to item number 2. I will have alternate member Tony Chow come up and committee member McKay will be recusing herself. So we will have 4.
Both alternates to be in
Oh,
this.
yes, thank you. It's a great idea.
And we should probably do a mic test just to make sure everyone's mic. So Kellen will be the the judge here. So Kellen, this is Isidro. So can you hear me?
yes,
He's a yes.
Can you hear me, Kellen?
Yes.
how about me?
Rick Chow, can you?
Rick Chow?
fuzzy. It's okay, but not great.
Can you hear me? This is Joyce.
Yes,
Krista,
yes,
can you hear me? Okay.
Tony,
yes,
Suzanne,
yes,
Eric,
yes.
So it's just his mic.
it's just a dead zone over there, I think.
I'm sorry. Oh, the podium?
Oh, check. Thank you.
Is podium working?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We will move to item number 2. Trying to get to. Okay, design review case number 22-53 at 2437 Huntington Drive. Staff report, please.
Just Eric G, Assistant Planner. Case number DR 22-53 2437 Huntington Drive. The applicant proposes to replace one existing 4 feet 7.5 inch by 10 feet 4 3/4 inch steel fixed window with a new 6 feet by 8 feet 9 inch torn steel window, which is visible from the public alley. As such, it requires design review approval. The subject property is identified on the citywide historic resource survey report as being potentially individually eligible for local listing or designation through survey evaluation. The property is a Tudor revival with a mix of commercial vernacular built in 1945. Out of the total 8 legal neighbors, 4 responded to not object and 4 no responses. The project meets all four findings and staff recommends approval. That concludes the staff report. Staff is available to answer any questions and the applicant is present to answer any questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions for staff?
Yeah, sorry, real quick. Is
May-
there any other material that was provided by the applicant or it's this plan set that we provided?
Yes, there is
Nothing specifically on the window, I guess.
no.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do have.
Committee member Chow.
I'm gonna try. Apologize, I lost my notes. All right, can't find my notes, but my first question is that this building is a potential historic designation according to our city survey. So when the item is in that category, do we need to have the applicant provide a third-party historical survey? Because we normally have that. I understand this is the back of the building, but I just don't know, like to understand a little bit better.
If I can answer that for you.
Of course.
Yes, so this property is listed as potential historic resource, but not a historic resource. And our code only requires a historic resource report for new homes, but it doesn't require it for any other type of application. So
So a commercial zoning building doesn't apply?
if it's a new building, then you would need a historic resource report if the building were to be demoed and rebuilt. Yes, that's required. But if there's like a change to the facade or anything like that, I know in the past, it seemed to have been provided with every application, but our code doesn't require it. And oftentimes we suggest to applicants to provide it, but it's not a requirement.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, what we have been doing before wasn't really necessary.
Correct.
Okay, because all the buildings that's being designated as potential, I'm talking about all the homes throughout San Marino, the cases in front of us before. All the homes are potential designations. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but still what we have been doing, ever since we had the survey done, is that all those homes need to go through the DRC because of that. I mean, that needs to be listed. Again, just for clarification, it's not the case.
Right. And
Okay.
we clarify, we provide some background in the history, but it's not something that staff ourselves can require an applicant to submit.
Okay,
Although I think it is important to note that we highly encourage the applicant to do so.
mhm,
More so if the changes are of a bigger nature, additions, two-story additions. Obviously, in this case, I think the applicant felt because it was just a window change that it did not merit. But again, we do highly encourage it, even though it's not a requirement.
sure. Yeah, I think this is definitely a discussion for a further discussion because, in the past, all the applicants, assuming they spent a lot of money to have that survey done.
Any other questions? Seeing no other questions for staff, we will move to the applicants. Would you like to present your project? You can come right to the microphone.
And there's some slides.
Yes, we'll bring that up for you.
Can you see them up here?
Yes,
Can I put on that?
yes.
Thank you for having us tonight. I'm Rick Keating. I'm an architect.
Sorry, if you could speak into the mic, please.
Yeah, it's sensitive. There you go.
Can you hear me?
You're good.
I
Great.
can hear you.
Oh, thank you again for having us tonight. I'm Rick Keating. I'm here with Dan Nixon, who is my client and my friend. Both of us live in San Marino. And both of us, well, Dan hopefully will work in San Marino. I do. And we're here tonight to talk about a pretty special building on Huntington Drive. I think you can see it. I don't know if you all can see where I'm pointing or not. Can you? Okay. It's an interesting building because it faces the street, and its street facing character is what we all love and appreciate about this building. Apparently, and Eric has looked at a couple of alternatives. Apparently, this was one building at one point in time, and therefore the parking in the back was all together. At some point, it was divided and sold, and so that's something I wanted you to know about. Next slide, please. Can you go back one, Eric? Yeah, these are the two buildings together. And what we're now, go forward one, please. 2437, as it's marked on the slide, is that. That's what you see. So we're dealing with a neighbor that is exactly the same building, same roof, same brick, same doors, same windows, and everything else. But this is what we all appreciate about the heritage of this building in our city. Next slide. The rear of all of the buildings facing Huntington and even the city hall and other buildings around are much different in character. And in terms of the historic resource, basically, these buildings are quite industrial. They're usually block and sometimes brick, always with industrial steel windows. And you can see our building, I'm just going to point it out, is this one right here. And then our neighbor building is that one. And this is the shared parking area between these two buildings. This is the, at one point in time, this was the one singular building that I was referring to. Next, please. This is the existing condition. There's an entry here at the back. There's a window to a bathroom here in the corner. And there's one singular window, industrial steel sash window that facing into the user's space. There's a couple of electrical drops and panels here, and then a water heater here on this side. Next slide, please. One of the windows, because of, we think, damage or broken glass, has been changed to have these additional steel segments applied to it that relates to the character of the window facing Huntington Drive, which is a nice thing to do. But we think that the reason for doing it had more to do with glass breakage and things of that nature than it had to do with the aesthetics. Next slide. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but let me try to use my pointer. This is the sorry. This is the existing floor plate as it is, and this is the proposed floor plate. Basically, you can see there's an order to the partitions, and we're essentially keeping the same partitions. We're changing out some of the character of them in our tenant improvements. But the only substantive change that figures into our discussion tonight is this area in this corner, this area. This is an existing bathroom that does not meet the code required by the American Disabilities Act. To create a bathroom here using the same plumbing in the same location and to meet the American Disabilities Act, the width of that particular bathroom has to increase. As that width increases, so does the path of by the way, there's an ADA parking space in the back and a space for getting in. The circulation within the building has to respond to the American Disabilities Act as well, the space alongside the door. So that ends up impinging a little bit on this existing window right here. And so what we've done in the design is to move the western edge of the window about 18 inches in and keep the same amount of light by dropping the sill a little bit, frankly, to match the existing sills on the windows of the building next door. But that's the substantive architectural change to this building that is created by the ADA. And we're just responding to that. But we think that the next elevation, please. Oh, I'm sorry. This shows the restroom existing. This is the existing restroom here, toilet, and those are the dimensions of the partitions surrounding it. And then because of the ADA Act, we have to move that partition to this point to create a 5-foot circle. And that induces a larger corridor going into the building and a space on the side of the door needed by the ADA. So this is the partition in question that bumps into this edge of this window in that area right there. Next. So the upper image is the existing situation. There's the bathroom window, there's the existing door, there's some of the electrical panel things, and the existing window. This door moves from here to provide the width in the bathroom and to provide the width in the circulation. And then this edge of the window moves slightly from that position to that position. So to keep the same amount of light, we lowered the bottom of the window to keep this window at roughly the same amount of glass area. And that's the substantive change. And it's done with the same metal sash and as responsible as you can to keep the character of this industrial side of the building intact. And there's one more image, I think. Yeah. So this is the existing building as it plays. This is its neighboring building. This is the shared parking lot at the rear. And as we do this, we're also required by code to provide an ADA parking space with the appropriate ramp coming into the building. So this is the character of the parking, more or less as it is today, with the exception of this new ADA ramp, ADA parking space and ramp access into it. And then because of that, these are the required numbers of cars by code that to provide. So we actually have a little extra space, which we hope if money is available and things like that, we actually can do some landscaping and improve the character of the rear of this building as well. But other than that, we're not changing anything on the exterior of the building with the exception of that one window.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Yeah, we have you can stay. Go ahead, committee member Rick Chow.
I'll try this, Mike. Mr. Keating, right?
Yes.
So the question about the exterior, because had you just mentioned that your intention is just to change to a new window. However, because of the different sizes, the bricks is going to be damaged, right? Presumably. So are you going to use the existing, repurpose the existing bricks?
Yes,
Or
that'd be our
could you talk
intention.
a little bit about that? I'm concerned about the brick pattern.
Sure.
The brick bond. Maybe you can answer that question.
This gets back to your concern on the last project we just heard about. And when you take the window out, you end up with a part of the exterior surface, in this case, brick rather than stucco, like you were talking about, that we can reuse those existing bricks and we can actually tumble them. That's a process to get them to, mix and match together, and then we put them back with the same grout system. So it would be our ambition to make them look exactly the way they are and not have any change at all. You would not be able to see the pattern of the old window by the time we're done.
Thank you. I also noticed there is this detail. The brick pattern, you can see like these header bricks down there. I would like to also see that being preserved. Once you put everything back together, is that something that you might consider?
Absolutely.
One more question, just out of curiosity. So you are going to have a ramp, right?
Yes.
Okay, and your neighbor to the east, I'm sorry, to the west, when you visit the back, they don't really have anything like that. It doesn't look like they provide any ramps. I'm just curious that why don't they need that?
The current parking area does not have an ADA parking spot. By code, when you do the renovations, you do need to provide an ADA parking spot. Dan and his neighbor have an agreement to use that parking area together. So as we rebuild the ADA parking spot, the access, and it will suffice for both buildings, the access from that ADA parking spot to those rear doors will be appropriately done in terms of slope. It's very close to the exact slope that exists on the asphalt as it is today, but we're making sure that it's precise and to the AD points.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committee member, anyone else?
Yeah, if I may,
Member
just
Tony Chow?
quick detail, on the awning, what is that gonna look like? Same kind of
it's-
system or something
It's
different?
similar. It's not half round and half domed as it is on the existing building. It's done potentially by, I've done buildings in Pasadena recently with similar awning, but it's probably gray, charcoal gray in color rather than currently it's blue. Currently, the awning is tattered and need a repair. And so we chose to make it not something that's a statement as awning as the dome awning is, and just a simple shell that shaves, it's an angled awning that covers the front door. And the rear door.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Committee member Batnij?
I was just wondering if you could just tell me a little bit more about what the window is going to look like and the materials. Exactly.
It's our goal to make it look exactly like it does today. We may or may not be able to get the precise metal mullion system. But Eric, can you bring up the image in the back of the buildings again? In the photograph. Yeah, now, can that be blown up in some way to see both the windows to the right and the window to the left? So the goal would be, you see the neighbor on the right in the whiter building has steel sash windows. And we will attempt to do almost identical windows that we have existing as we rebuild that particular window. So it should look. like
So
that.
are you using, is this like are you using like a custom steel window manufacturer? Or
There's a list of steel windows that are acceptable to the city of San Marino. We're picking from one of those.
got it? Is that a list of companies?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Seeing no questions? We'll move to public comments. Thank you. Is anyone from the public who has a comment, either here or online? Anyone online? No one is online, so we will close the public comment portion and move to committee member discussion. Start with committee member Rick Chow.
Yes, I think I can support the project. And with the added condition that was discussed with the applicant. I think the exterior, the masonry, mortar, header bricks details, and all the new brickwork needs to match the existing exterior. So I can support it with added condition. Thank you.
And committee member Batnij.
Yes, I would repeat exactly the same conditions. I agree that those conditions should be included in the motion. I could support this evening. It really sounds like everyone has very good intentions here. I don't know how to put it in the motion that about the matching steel materials. I don't know if that, I can't really
I
tell.
think it was indicated it would be a steel window in
Right.
the plan. So I think that's,
And they have to follow the pattern that the pattern that is,
that
okay.
they've given to us in
Okay,
the
then
plan.
maybe that's enough.
And they're
then. I
using
just-
the manufacturer because they have to go to
And
the,
they have to use one.
and there
okay.
is only, I think
Okay.
there's only one on the on the
Okay.
list.
Torn steel.
Yeah,
Yes, I think we're all good. Committee member Ferguson.
Yes, I can support this. It's a charming building and the plan for the back will clean things up really nicely and maybe match the front, the charm of the front.
Thank you. Committee member Tony Chow.
Yeah, I think this will improve the back end, but more than anything, I actually think it's a great revamp of usage of the space. really reopening up the space and, you know, with that light, it definitely will make it a better building as a whole. So I could support this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I agree with all the committee members and with the condition of the brickwork. And I could support the project as presented as well. Committee member Chow, you have a question?
Just before we go to motion, I think we should clarify if we're saying to use the same brickwork or similar, like what we're conditioning in this. Just before we go to the motion.
When you say same brickwork, are you talking about pattern?
Pattern.
Or
Oh,
the
same,
bricks?
same.
Reuse.
Yeah, reuse. I'm just saying for clarification for city and for applicant, we should clarify if we're talking about like or same. Same as existing. Yeah.
There was a mention about reusing the
Yeah.
existing brick, so I think
And the
Uh,
applicant seemed to agree.
agree to, so that should be included in the motion.
Basically repurpose. the
Yes,
existing.
exactly.
The existing brick into the project, into
Correct.
the final. Yes, yes. Is that okay? Can you respond to that?
Yes.
Just to clarify, we will attempt to use the actual bricks unless one is cracked or something's damaged, and then we may have to find either a similar brick or something but it will be, or it's our intention to make it look exactly like it was always supposed to be that way. And no differential in the exterior.
Thank you. Okay, good. So do we have a motion?
Words.
Yes. Member Rick Chow.
I'll try to make a motion. I move to approve design review case number ER 22-53 at 2437 Huntington Drive with the added condition that the exterior masonry brickwork to match the existing which means to repurpose the existing bricks as much as possible. Clear, do you want to condition the window?
No, and finish and the design and duplicate the sill and the design that,
Yes, thank you. And preserve the existing details of the windowsill with the header bricks pattern.
do we have a second? Is that okay?
A second.
Roll call?
Chair Lakon,
Yes,
committee member Ratnish,
Yes.
committee member Chow, Rick Chow, alternate committee member Tony Chow,
Yes.
and alternate committee member Torgerson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you very much. Thank you. We'll move on to director report.
Oh, yeah, the third item is the consent calendar for adoption minutes.
For the minutes. Do we have any? Yes, good. Sure. Thank you. Suzanne, you can stay. We have to vote on the minutes, don't we?
Yeah.
Now, how do we do the minutes? We're going to discuss the minutes or ask for?
You could discuss them if you find an error or an issue like staff to correct, or you can just adopt them as is and vote to adopt.
Okay. Do anyone have any changes or questions about the minutes?
I have a little question. Do you usually not go into detail?
Yes, so every city is different. This city specifically with how the minutes are done with city council, it's only action minutes and not like detailed line by line comments.
Thank you.
Okay. So can we have a motion to approve the minutes or accept the
Yes.
minutes?
Yes,
To accept, do we have a motion? To adopt the motion, the minutes or to?
To move to adopt the minute or, okay, I move to adopt the minutes
Second,
as presented.
and I'll second, seconded by Vice Chair McKay.
Okay,
So,
so for a
roll
vote,
call.
Chair Lacon,
Yes.
Vice Chair McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Bettenich,
Yes.
Committee Member Rochelle, and alternate Committee Member Torgerson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, can we have a director's report?
Thank you, Chair. I have a few items to go over. The Planning Division received, 2 appeal applications for 2 DRC actions. An appeal, application for the DRC approval of 1408 Wilson, that was an addition, that was appealed. There was also an appeal, to 1424 Bradbury. The applicant appealed that decision. Planning staff is anticipating these will be scheduled to the planning commission sometime early in the year, next year.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second one, the property.
1424 Bradbury.
Bradbury. Okay, thank you.
And again, those are anticipated to be scheduled to the planning commission sometime early next year. So I will be obviously informing the committee as to when that will happen. For the next meeting, which is scheduled on December 7th, we anticipate a few projects related to windows, roofing, and potentially projects exceeding the impervious coverage. So we don't have anything definite now, but obviously we'll let you know as we move forward. In regards to our meetings, again, the next meeting will be December 7th, and again, all future meetings are now in this location at the Barth Room. So December 7th, we'll meet DRC meetings for December 21st and January 4th of 2023 are canceled. And the next meeting after that would be on January 18th, 2023. We would also like to make a statement that the next planning commission is actually a special planning commission scheduled for November 21st, this upcoming Monday. So the meeting that would be regularly scheduled on Wednesday, the 23rd, is canceled. And all that meeting will be here at the Barth, but all future planning commission meetings are at the council chambers. The planning commission meeting of December 28th is canceled, so the next meeting after that will be in January. And then the next city council meeting will be on December 14th, and the December 30th city council meeting is canceled. Also, we recently had an election, which will have an impact potentially to this committee. I will discuss that at a future date. But congratulations to all the to all the winners. And then staff would like to wish everyone in the city a happy Thanksgiving, and especially to this committee. Again, I'd like to remind everyone who listens to these proceedings that all of you are volunteers. You give up your time to make this a better city, and we all appreciate that. I mean, all of us and staff appreciate working with you, so we really are grateful for that. That concludes my director's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I will close the meeting at 7:05. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, everyone.